California desert. It is 9 o'clock. I am going to go ahead and get started. My name is Annette Coffey. I am your association executive. And today we're going to talk about the new clear cooperation that has been brought to us through the National Association of Realtors, or otherwise known as NAR. I'd like to welcome my president, or our president, Robin Dufault. She is here with us today. And also Justin Page, who is our communications marketing director, is with us, and he's going to help manage behind the scenes, allowing people in during the time they come into the waiting room. And also he is recording the presentation, so we will make this available to our members afterwards and put it on our website. Sorry, my phone just buzzed. I'm going to go ahead and shut that off so that does not happen again. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, back in November of 2019, the National Association of Realtors brought down a new policy. It's called 8.0, or Clear Cooperation Policy. And it was meant to address some of the business models that were taking place in the market in regards to not inputting listings into the MLS, but yet being a participant or a subscriber to the MLS, but not actually using the multiple listing service in the way it was meant to be used. First of all, the MLS has always been only for the purpose of cooperation and compensation. And it is a marketplace for our members, our participants, meaning our brokers, and our subscribers, meaning our MLS agents, to use the system to share data back and forth, to cooperate with each other, and to offer compensation for doing so, for listing or for selling properties. NAR came out because there was a lot of MLS off-market properties. There was a lot of areas where, more so outside of the valley, not as much so in the valley, but a lot of it was going on outside the valley, where people were doing their own Facebook pages or their own MLS off-market listings. And although they're a member of the MLS and they have agreed to abide by the rules of the MLS and submit their properties into the MLS, they were not doing so. And so NAR came forward with this new policy. So it does change things dramatically for you. First one is within one business day of marketing a property to the public, and we'll go into that a little bit and explain what that means for you. But it's 1 day within the MLS you have to, or 1 day within getting that listing, you have to put it into the MLS if you have marketed the property. So the mandatory submission is the big change. It used to be that it was 2 days, now it's down to 1 day. And just so you guys know, it is only for 1 to 4 unit residential properties and vacant lots. We did get a question last week about leases, and if they were part of this, and they are not. This is not part of the mandatory submission for leases. There is still mandatory submission, but not when it comes to marketing, and it's not in regards to this 8.0. I'm sorry, I keep getting pop-ups on the side. Let's talk about what marketing is to the public. Number one, the public is anyone who is not a direct client of the brokerage, meaning anyone who you don't have a buyer's agency relationship with. So marketing to the public is any type of Facebook marketing, any type of social media, any sign at the property, that being a sign in the yard or a sign in the window. Any kind of marketing that you do outside the brokerage is considered marketing to the public. The current process of the process today, without this new 8.0, without this May 1st timeframe, is listing broker currently has 2 business days from the listing contract to do one of two things. One being put in active. Everybody's very familiar with active and how that works. And the other is regarding an SPLM, a CDAR form, exclusion form for the brokerage. Currently, you could still have an exclusion form and still do public marketing. But as of May 1st, that's what changes so drastically for you. The process as of May 1st, you'll have 3 options. One being the seller signs the listing contract. You have 1 business day Remember, it's business day, not just every day, it's every business day, to do one of three things. Put it in the active status, which you already know. You already understand that one. Coming soon is in regards to a new status that is going to be available in your MLS as of May 1st. And then the third option that you would have is to have an exclusion form, similar to what you have today, but yet with no public marketing. And we'll go into that just a little bit further. Let's talk about the three different choices that you have. Let's start with the SPLM. The SPLM is truly an exclusive within your brokerage. There is no marketing being allowed. There is no displaying of that listing in the MLS. Obviously, there's no commission offered through the MLS because it's not displayed in the MLS. There's no days in the MLS, meaning if the listing is not in the system, so there are no days counting or days in the MLS counting. No distribution through the MLS, which is pretty obvious as well, since the MLS, it does not have that listing. And then the showings are only within the listing broker's clientele. Meaning, if you're a brokerage, if you have an SPLM on file with your seller, you may market that property only within your own brokerage, not outside the brokerage. That goes across the board with all types of marketing. The next status is your coming soon status. That's the new status we're going to have in the MLS. The first things these are the things you're allowed to do when it's in a coming soon status. You may market the property. You may put up a sign. You may put it, I'm sorry, let's go through that again. You may market the property. You may display that in the MLS. Commission is being offered. There are no days in the MLS counting. Limited distribution through the MLS, meaning it will go out to participants and subscribers, and it will go out to other data shares that we are sharing our data with if they have a coming soon status, and if they share their coming soon status with us. If a data share chooses to have a coming soon status and is not going to disseminate those listings out to other data shares, including California Desert, then California Desert doesn't share that data with them. It's a reciprocal. It's very similar to what you would have within the MLS between each other. It's the same thing. If you share it with us, then we share it with you. And then there's no showings allowed, and the maximum number of days you may have a listing in a coming soon status is 21 days. You can go 7 days, you can go 4 days, you can go 14 days, you can do anything up to 21 days, but it has to be no more than 21 days. When you put the listing in a coming soon status, you will be asked what day do you want the listing to go active. So you'll put that in. It could be up to the 21 days, but again, it could be shorter than that period of time. The other thing you need to understand with coming soon is you may not revert back to coming soon. You can only move out of coming soon forward, but you may not go back to that status. So you can't go from coming soon to active back to a coming soon status. Also, active, which you're all very familiar with, you're allowed to market as well under the active status. You may display it in the MLS. Commission is offered. Days in MLS will count. So if it's in coming soon status for 21 days and then flips to the active status, then at that time that it goes active, that's when the counting will start. That's day one. Full distribution through the MLS, meaning this is where it will go out to all third-party sites, your sites such as Realtor.com, Zillow, any Trulia, any of those third-party sites is where it goes out to the third parties. And then also showings are allowed. This is the main difference between a coming soon and an active. Coming soon, you can do all your marketing. Coming soon, you can display it within the participants and subscribers in the MLS. But the two big differences between coming soon and active. You may show the property in an active status. This also, now that we're in the age that we're in today with the COVID-19 and our restrictions on showing properties, this also is in regards to virtual showings. Virtual showings, one party or any type of virtual showing has to be in active status to do so. If you have a virtual tour, that's different. A virtual tour goes in the MLS as a link, and anybody at any time, similar to looking at pictures, can look at that video. And so that's different than the actual showings on a virtual showing. Very different type of process. What I will tell you in this is the questions I'm getting is what, again, is marketing and what is allowed under the coming soon. It's all marketing. You may do Facebooks, you may do your sign, you may do your paper type of advertisement. You may do all of that. The only thing you can't do is you cannot show, and the MLS will not disseminate those out to any third party. So during that coming soon time is your opportune time for you to actually get your professional photos taken. When you take your listing and put it into the coming soon status, you must put one photo up. It can be from your camera, it could be from your phone. Just take one exterior photo of the property and put it into the MLS when you put your listing in. And then at that time, after that time it goes active, or time it goes from coming soon to active, you can get your professional photographer pictures taken, upload those into the system, and the minute it goes active, that's when it will disseminate again out to those third parties, out to all those people that you really want those beautiful photos taken. So just during that time of coming soon, make sure you get your professional photos taken. Let's talk a little bit about SPLM and what that means. The big thing with SPLM, the big change with this is there's no public marketing allowed when you have it in the SPLM status. You can take a property in SPLM for a period of time and then also move it into a coming soon after that. That is also something you could do, so you can have an exclusive for a period of time and then put it into a coming soon. But you may not have an exclusive in public marketing. So you must make sure that it stays within the brokerage and only within the brokerage. The other thing you need to be aware of is if you share your listing with your fellow agents within your own brokerage, and one of those other agents then does this mass broadcasting of that property out, that's considered public marketing, even if you did not do it. So you need to make sure it's very, very clear to your brokerage that this is an SPLM, it's exclusive to your brokerage, and that they may not disseminate that information out to the public. Again, no Facebook posts, none of that. The other thing is you need to make sure that the seller is also aware of that, because sometimes sellers will post something publicly on their own Facebook page. So make sure you let your seller know that they may not do that during that exclusive listing. The other thing you need to make sure is that you have this in writing from your seller. So obviously the SPLM qualifies for that. All you need to do is make sure that you submit that SPLM to CDAR within 1 business day of taking that listing. So one other question I received on this is who is required to sign the SPLM. We allow for the agent's signature on this. It does not have to be signed by the broker, just like the listing contract. We do not have to have the broker signature on the SPLM. And I think that may be a little bit different than what some of you have been told in previous years during the time we were doing SPLM. It does not require a broker signature. Let's talk about showings and what showings mean and how that works. And I did talk about a little bit about this earlier, but listing brokers shall not misrepresent the availability of access to show or inspect a listed property. That will be considered a violation if you do. Remember, under coming soon, you may not show the property, not even to your own client. If you want to show the property, say you have that coming soon status and someone really wants to see it, you may move it out of the coming soon status so that you can show that property, but you may not put it back in coming soon status. So once it comes out, then the showings are open for everybody. And you may always change the date of your go live date. So you might have it in there as go live in 21 days, and then you decide you want to go live in 7 days. You may do that. You've got all your pictures taken, the house is cleaned up, it happened quicker than you expected, and you may move it into an active status sooner than what you originally thought, provided that is the direction your seller has given you. Remember to make sure you always have the seller's permission and the seller's signed instruction to submit it into coming soon. Make sure they understand what that means. So a valid listing contract, under coming soon, we need to make this really clear because this was another question we've been getting during our presentation. First of all, obviously you know you must have a valid listing contract. Surprisingly, we have had some agents just have a conversation with a seller, and the seller has stated to them verbally, yep, I'm going to let you list my property. And so they thought that they could put something into a coming soon status, a sign up, a coming soon rider, that type of thing. They thought they could do that just because the seller said, yes, I'm going to list with you. That is not the case. When the listing goes into the coming soon status, you must have a valid listing contract, fully executed contract with that seller. The seller also has to have given you permission to put it in the coming soon status, and make sure you have that in writing. We do not have a form for that. You may have that in writing by an email. Your broker may establish a document for you to use for that purpose. But the only time that you'll be asked for this is if somebody has requested or questioned the coming soon status and the validity of the contract. So we may ask you for this. And then again, the seller must have requested it go into a coming soon status. Marketing and advertising is permitted. Again, we've talked about this, but just to make it very clear, it's still permitted in the coming soon status. And remember, it is only viewable by participants and subscribers within our MLS and participants and subscribers in data shares outside of our MLS that we share our data with, provided they have a coming soon status. I will tell you, I know CRMLS has a coming soon status and is going to share data with California Desert. And so California Desert will be sharing that coming soon status with them as well. We are under the understanding that Vesta Plus or the MLS also is going to have a coming soon status, but they have not confirmed about sharing the data yet. But I'm assuming that's going to be the case, and we will let you know once we hear. The next slide is in regards to hold. So hold has changed slightly. The board of directors during this time, during the pandemic, has made it available for you to continue to advertise even though you are in a hold status. So some sellers have decided during this time that they did not want their property shown. And so, but they wanted the days in the MLS to stop counting. And so some sellers have given instructions to their listing agent brokerage to put the listing on hold, but the listing brokerage and agent are still able at this time to continue to market. And that was a direct decision by the board of directors to address what's going on in today's market. And so you are still able to continue to market, but you must have that instruction from your seller again in writing. It's not something we'll ask for unless we're questioned, and we need to. But it's something that you need to have, your seller needs to direct you to do that. And that'll stop anything from any of the days in the MLS from counting. Remember, when you're in a hold status, you may not show the property, not even to your own clients, okay? This is the violation in regards to anything regarding this 8.0. So it could be in regards to showing when it's incoming soon. It could be in regards to not putting the listing in the MLS within that one business day. This $1,000 has not been approved by the board of directors. Your board of directors is very much aware of the times that we're in and the ability. They want to make sure that you guys are trained. They want to make sure that our members have the information. They want to make sure that we give you the opportunity to understand this new policy. So they voted to do a soft launch, and Each violation will receive a warning, and you'll be educated on what you did wrong, and hopefully that's all that it will take. If a member abuses the system, and we hope that that's not the case, but if a member abuses the system, we do have to be able to fine them so that it deters that behavior. Unfortunately, that is the case on sometimes, but not usually. California Desert is a great group of professional members, and they try to do what is right. And sometimes the violation is not because they were trying to violate the rule, they just weren't aware of it. So we want to make sure that we have this opportunity to educate them. So $1,000 is a possible fine at this point, but it has to be finally approved by the board of directors, which is meeting in May, and they will determine that amount. But we will be making sure that our members are educated and hopefully not fined, but actually more educated than anything else. So the implementation of this starts on May 1st, but we won't start enforcing until May 4th. Again, this was a board of directors decision. May 1st is a Friday, and we didn't think it was fair to address a new change, a new policy, especially one this big of a change on a Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday, you guys not having the ability to talk to staff and ask questions. So it will actually be enforced on Monday, and staff will be fully aware of the changes and will be able to answer your questions. And everybody's obviously able to contact me. I'm there for you if you need to give me a call, or you can reach me through email if you choose to do so. So I'm going to open this up through the chat for anybody to ask any questions. And I think Justin's going to help me with this. I'm going to bring my chat over, and so you guys will all be able to see these as well. Let me see if I can do this real quick. You know, I'm going to stop the share. So Charlie, yes, I will send out the slide deck to the group that attended. We're also recording this, and we'll send that out to the membership as well. And Susan Winters, it's good to have you join us as well. Coming soon status be sent to our website vendors in the IDX feeds? No. So coming soon is only going to be viewable by, oh, this is IDX. Coming soon is only going to be viewable at this point by our participants and subscribers. It is not being fed out to any third-party sites. I will verify the IDX and put that information out to you so that you have that. In withdrawn status, can marketing and showings continue? So traditionally under withdrawn, it is because your seller has requested all MLS activity, you to stop marketing, stop doing all that. So withdrawn status is really during a time traditionally where a seller has requested you to stop everything, but they're still under contract with you. And so there's no marketing of the product and there's no showings allowed. You would need to put that to an active status. So withdrawn is considered an off-market status, not an on-market status. I hope that clarifies. Dean, I'd be happy to address that more if you need me to. Is a sign on a property allowed under coming soon? Sign on a property is absolutely allowed under coming soon. Sign on a property is not allowed in the SPLM. So a sign is considered public marketing. Think about it, driving by, anybody driving by could see that. That's considered public marketing. And under an SPLM, that's exclusive only for the brokerage, and there is no public marketing allowed. So you may not put a sign up on the property if it's in an SPLM or exclusive brokerage state. Just to clarify, SPLM only allows for communication between agents within the brokerage, but no sharing from those agents to the clients, regardless if the sharing is mass communications or one-to-one agent to client. If you have a client, so mass, absolutely not. I can definitely address that. SPLM is only an exclusive marketing between the brokerage. If a agent within that brokerage hears about this listing, right, through an office meeting. You guys could talk about it during an office meeting because that's, again, an exclusive within that brokerage. If they do, and they happen to have a client for that property, Remember, it has to be a client that you have a relationship with. It is not a client that you do mass marketing to. It's not somebody that's just in your database. You have to have a relationship with them. Some MLSs, and California Desert has not adopted this yet, but will if we have to. Some MLSs are requiring you to have a buyer's agency relationship with them, that you have a signed contract with that client. So be very, very careful on how you use an exclusive listing with another agent within a brokerage and going out and showing that property. Again, it has to be somebody that you have a true client relationship with, and that doesn't mean just your database. And Charlie, I'll address that more if you need more communications on that. David, May 4th does not give us enough time to have all our agents completely understand the new rules. I believe, David, I'd be happy to address it with your office if that would help. But May 4th is the mandated time for us to implement it. It's not a choice we have. NAR told us by May 1st that you have to implement the new change. So we will be happy to communicate with your agents, and that's kind of the reason for the soft launch, and that's why the California Desert's Board of Directors made the decision they did, is that we want to educate our members and get them used to this. But I'd be happy to come to an office and present as well. I'm going to make sure on this IDX feed that seems to be a common thread or a common question throughout this. So I will make sure on the IDX feeds, my understanding, it does not go outside the MLS at all. It's only within our family is how I talk about it. It's only our participants and subscribers. Any kind of IDX feed, I need to verify on that. But I will find out because that's going to your website. And if your vendors have coming soon available in their website, maybe that's going to go out to them. But I will find out, and when we send this out, I will send that message with it as well. Based off of the questions we're getting, we're doing a Q&A that we're going to send out and have that posted on our website so you guys have those. Under SPLM, I'm assuming a broker's public website does not constitute within the brokerage. That is absolutely true. SPLM is exclusive. Again, a public website is public. So the biggest thing you got to remember under SPLM, there is no public marketing, absolutely none. The minute you do any kind of public marketing, it has to go into a coming soon or an active status. It cannot stay in exclusive within the brokerage. So any type of public marketing that you do, you need to make sure that's not within an SPLM status, it's in a different status. To clarify, listings only get pushed to Zillow Realtor when they are active. Correct. Not in coming soon and not in SPLM. So the coming soon only stays within the family, participant subscribers within the MLS. That gets pushed to those third-party websites such as Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com once it goes into the active status, not in the coming soon status. Does win the brokerage mean I can share to all agents within my brokerage across the country or only my Pacific office? It's within the brokerage ownership is how I understand it. So you cannot blast out to all of the franchises outside. It's within the brokerage status. So our brokerage in the Valley. So I will put that on my Q&A as well and address that. You guys are coming up with great questions. These are all new questions. I have not heard either one of those. I'm sorry I missed it. Time to take pics within the one business day. I'm not sure I understand this question, but I will go over the pictures real quick. In a coming soon status, you can have all your pictures up if you want. That's your choice. But if you are waiting, the reason why you put it in coming soon status is you want to make sure you have all your beautiful professional photos taken before it goes active and pushing out to the third parties. Then all you have to do, you have to put one exterior photo up. So make sure you take one photo. You can take it yourself. Just put it up under coming soon. Remember, that does not get blasted out. It doesn't go out to those third-party websites. doesn't go out to those Zillows, Trulias, that type of thing until it goes active. So at that point, you need to make sure you have your professional photos done and taken by that time. With public seeing, no. Will public see coming soon at all, i.e. flex subscriptions, etc.? Susan, good question. That's another one. You guys have great questions. So we're gonna do that. It sounds like we're gonna do one more of this, but I will do another, I'll do a Q&A on this and look at that one too. I don't believe it's gonna go, no, it's not gonna go out. I'm sorry, because it stays within the family. That one I can guarantee you. It's not going out. It is only within the family, and it's not going to be able to go out on those portals. And I will get clarification, and subscriptions is what this is also called. I will get clarification, send that off to you. What if your seller shows someone the property and that person purchases it when you have a SPLM and before you go active? So the seller is, I think it's an SPLM exclusive. If you sell it within the office, that's not public. We're gonna have to look in that one too, and I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, we've just. I guess I'm muted.
Go ahead.
We've had deals where we've had a listing with an SPLM, and that seller was waiting for surgery to happen or something, and in the meantime told a friend about it who purchased the property. I just wanted to make sure we're not going to get fined if, you know, because the property was shown before it was in active status, but we didn't show it.
Wow. Here's the thing, that's considered public marketing, so I think you would have a problem, because the seller's not supposed to publicly market that property. The reason why they're doing the exclusive in SPLM is because they truly want it to be private. So if they're going out and publicly talking about their listing, that's going to trigger a problem. That's going to trigger a problem for you, for the brokerage, because it's not supposed to be publicly marketed. And if they're publicly marketing it, that's going to be a problem. Remember how I said the seller can't do it? So you've got to be very, very careful and let your seller know they cannot publicly market that property.
So if they had health reasons, for instance, this seller had cancer and didn't want any showings to start until he went through his treatment and surgeries, how would you publicly market it without I mean, you can't stop sellers from showing it to a friend. That's what happened in this case.
And then they went to the brokerage and said, I want to make an offer?
We wrote it up and represented both parties. I mean, this happened a couple months ago, but I'm wondering, we deal with this often. Not often, but, you know, every now and then.
Yeah, I think the problem is that's a loophole within the system, and I think I'm gonna be real honest, this can still consider public marketing. So your seller, if they truly are saying, I don't want anybody if I want this to be exclusive, they need to direct anybody to you guys. They shouldn't be directing them themselves. The seller cannot publicly market it, just like you can't publicly market it. And I know you're saying it's a friend, but they need to direct them to you guys so that they can go through the brokerage.
Well, if they found out that this person wanted to make an offer on the property, why couldn't they just change it to active real quick and then sell the property?
They could put it to active as long as the brokerage is not marketing it and the seller's not marketing it to the public. You can put it to active and then sell the property. I missed, where was I at? I think that was Lindy. Correct. So let's take, even if you took it on, let's kind of go through a scenario. If you took the listing on Friday, you could actually even hold an open house on Saturday and Sunday and put it in the system on Monday. Remember, open houses is considered showing, so you can't put it into coming soon on Monday, but you could put it into active. So you could still publicly market it on Saturday and Sunday and put it into the system on Monday. If you take a listing on Saturday or Sunday, you've got one business day, which is Monday, put the listing in on Tuesday. I hope that makes that clear. The fines, no, we're doing a soft launch. There will not be a fine on the 4th. We will educate the member if they happen to violate, if we get a notice that says there's a sign up and the listing's not in the system and it's been up for a week, we will be reaching out to that agent and they will need to put the listing into the system. If it's an agent, we will be keeping track of this. So if it's an agent who is abusing it time after time, then the fines will start. But the fines are not going to start on the 4th. It's going to be a soft launch. Could you put it, Stephanie, I don't know if you can unmute yourself, but could you put it into the MLS and just state no showings? I'm not sure what that means.
I was referring back when Wendy was giving her situation about someone who was ill. I mean, if you've got a listing agreement and they're ready to sell it, you could put it in the MLS with no showings. And then if they were telling their friends about it, it wouldn't be an issue, right?
Yes, yes, yes. You could do that. 21 days firm, can we apply for extension should construction not be complete at the property? No, it's 21 days firm. It has to go into a coming soon, or it has to go into an active status after those 21 days. There is no extension. There's no 21 days, I just need another 7, that type of thing. It has to go into an active status. To Wendy's question, you will have no ability to. So Dan, I do appreciate your comment and I understand the concern there, but this is a mandate from NAR and anything the seller does reflects on you and so that's why you need to advise your sellers on this one. It will affect how the finding on yourself. So unfortunately, that is a mandate, and that's the enforcement we have to have as an association. So any kind of public marketing, no matter who does it, whether that's your seller or another agent. So again, you have to be very, very clear when you do talk about it. If there's an SPLM on file, an exclusive SPLM within that brokerage, you do have to talk about that with those agents to make sure they don't market it. Because there's some agents that will even put it on Facebook on your behalf, so they can't do that. You need to make sure that they don't. And I think, is there any other questions? You can put them through the chat. Also, if you would like to, you can unmute yourself. I'd be happy to address any questions over the phone as well. Okay, I am going into a number of brokerages. I've been in 4 or 5 last week. I have another 3 or 4 scheduled for this week. I am going to address those few questions that I'm not 100% sure on, and there'll be an FAQ that comes out along with the slide deck and the recording, and we'll get those out to you, and we'll answer the questions on here. I hope that's it. If there's, Robin, is there anything that you would like to bring? I can unmute you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, but I noticed that Shane asked a question.
Did I miss it?
It's the last one.
I can't see that one. Oh, here it is. Are existing SPLMs being grandfathered in after May 1st? Yes. Yes. You don't have to redo an SPLM. Those will be. Thank you, Charlie. I do appreciate that. The California Desert, and this is totally unrelated to 8.0, but the California Desert Board of Directors made a decision and are very excited to announce that they have reduced the third quarter MLS fees from $99 down to $87. We also have implemented a monthly payment plan so that you don't have to come up with a full third quarter amount starting at the first month. You may pay monthly. So your monthly fees are $29. That's a huge reduction, and it gives you guys the ability to pay monthly rather than the full quarter. And we're very excited about the opportunities it gives our members, and this is in response to what you're currently going through with the pandemic. We are also encouraging membership and doing a membership drive, and would love to see members come to California Desert. We have continued to grow this last month and a half. I think we're well over 50 in the last month and a half, and that's kind of surprising now, the fact that we're in this state of affairs, but we are continuing to grow, and we'd like to provide services to our members. So if you are a member of California Desert and you have friends that want to know about it, please give us a call. We'd be happy to discuss it with them and let them know about the benefits of being a member of CDAR. Robin, is there anything else you want to add to that?
I just want to mention that tomorrow we have 2 town halls at 10 o'clock with Cathedral City, and then at 11 with Palm Desert. These have been very well received, and I welcome everyone to attend. You must register first. Thank you. And thanks, Annette.
Oh, you're welcome, Robin. And then also, Gov is going to be here on, I believe it's on Wednesday. Is it 11 o'clock? Is that correct, Robin?
Yeah.
Wednesday, 11 o'clock, he is going to discuss the COVID-19 forms, all the new COVID forms that have come out, and how to use them. And they keep growing, so the number of forms keeps growing. So please attend that, and you'll be able to ask Gov your questions as well through the chat session. And Terry asked, how many current members do we have? We are well over 2,800. I think we're close to almost 2,900 Realtor members. Last time I checked, we were at over 3,000 MLS members. So we have, again, continued to grow, and we'll hopefully providing great service for our members, and we will continue to do so, and look forward to providing services